Our next guest speaker is Dr. Ahmed Boushehri. Dr. Ahmed Boushehri is the faculty member of Electrical Engineering Department and is the co-founder of INC Labs, Information, Networks, and Complexity. He holds a PhD from Cornell University, 1994. Let's welcome Dr. Ahmed.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome. I'm going to go fast a little bit. I have a few slides. In the introduction, mentioned the co-founder of the INC Lab, Information, Networks, and Complexity, and my colleague, Dr. Qutayba Rizougi, we founded that. The ideas I'm going to talk here, it's basically some research activities we are considering in our lab. We are studying complex adaptive systems. Our background is electrical engineering and communications and networks, but then we are actually going to move into, and when we're studying communication systems and information transfer between systems, between agents, we can adapt this into real life situations like social networks. We have information passing in networks or fads passing through social networks, cascading of information, failures. So this actually, the talk is some of the ideas we are exploring in our lab. It's the title, The Game of Life. It's a quote by John Conway, a mathematician, 1970. We all play games. We go through life playing games. By the way, games, not the regular games we mean quote, whatever. It's games of strategy. We are strategists. We are actually interacting with each other through games, and sometimes we win, sometimes we lose. We play games with ourselves. We play our games with our families, with our friends, with our neighbors, with our colleagues, with our institutions. Even we play a game with nature. In a global scale, countries play games with each other, and maybe Dr. Ghanem Najjar now will see the problem of Somalia is one of the part of the game, what we call, he will understand it, we call it a prisoner's dilemma. The games between countries sometimes be innocent, like a soccer game. We lose some of our pride, but it might be destructive games. We lose thousands of lives. We destroy the environment. So that's the thing, the game of life. I like this quote, the chessboard is the world. The pieces are the phenomena of the universe. The rules of the game are what we call the laws of nature. The player on the other side is hidden from us. We know that his play is always fair, just, and patient, but always we know to our cost that he never overlooks a mistake or makes the smallest allowance for ignorance. This is a quote by Thomas Henry Huxley. So, this is Albert Tucker. There is a story behind that. Actually, he was visiting, he was working, a mathematician from Princeton University, visiting Stanford Math Department, 1950. Luck would have it that the math department did not have an office for him. No empty offices. So they hosted him in the psychology department. Okay? And at that time, he was working at the psychology department. One of the psychologists from Stanford passed through his office and introduced himself. He said, well, what you're working on? And he said, game theory. And by the way, game theory, invented by John von Neumann, who is the inventor of the computer, one of the greatest polymath the world ever known. And this is, you know, that John Nash is a PhD student of Alan Tucker. And you know John Nash, played by Russell Crowe, A Beautiful Mind. So the Stanford psychologist told Tucker, well, can you give us a talk about your work? Well, Tucker said, okay, let me think about it. Okay. This is what Tucker, at that time, working a snapshot of his work. It's a game developed by the Rand Corporation, by Melvin Drescher and Merrill Flood. Okay, and numbers and something called unique dominant strategy, Pareto optimal strategy. Now he thinks, well, how can I translate this into something they will understand, the psychologist. So he knows that humans, we are storytelling machines. We love stories. We love narrative. So he came up with the idea now, okay, let me put it in this contest, and he called it the prisoner's dilemma. The prisoner's dilemma, it's actually this game, you have two criminals. The authorities, they come to them, they quote them, and they tell them, well, we have enough evidence to convict you for 3 years. This is for sure. So then they offer them a deal, each of them individually. They said, well, okay, if you cooperate with us, if you confess on your friend, we'll go free, but your friend will receive a 15-year sentence. However, if you both confess, you will receive 10 years sentences, both of you guys. So that's basically the game matrix. Game theorists, they actually hate to be gender biased, so we have equally criminals, female and male, so that the name Alice, the first criminal, and Bob, the second criminal. If I teach in Kuwait University, I'm going to call them Ali and Badr because we are not allowed to say Alice or, okay? So that's the strategy. That's the game matrix. Now, Alice's dominant strategy is to confess, regardless of Bob's decisions. It's always, if she confesses, she will receive, if Bob went silent, she will go free. If Bob confesses, she will receive 10 years instead of 15. The same thing for Bob, the same thing. The dominant strategy is to confess. Now, that's the thing. If they both confess, which is the dominant strategy, which game theory says if you have a dominant strategy, you have to play it. You have to play that. So this is actually individual rationality. That's the individual rationality. You maximize your expected utility. So this is, you'll end up with 10 years. However, if you manage to cooperate, okay, you will get three years both. So that's what we call group rationality, which is the socially optimal strategy. That's the Pareto optimal strategy. So that's the conflict now between individual interest and group interest. That's the problem. That's the prisoner's dilemma. And I think, Dr. Ghanem Najjar, this is what happened in Somalia and so many parts of the world. And actually, we live in Kuwait with a lot of prisoners' dilemma. Everything in Kuwait, I can tell you, we have so many prisoners' dilemma. We have to fix this. Now, we have what we call Houston, we have a problem now, a conflict between individual rationality or individual interest and group interest. If you think about it, this is actually the game played by Kuwaiti parliament and the government. No trust, everybody actually go through their own interest. No, they don't want to cooperate, and the society will suffer, okay? Now, is this a game, a prisoner's dilemma game? Is this a prisoner's dilemma game? It's a prisoner's dilemma game. It's between the present self and the future self. The present self actually enjoys smoking at the expense of the future self. This is what economists call, they suffer from extreme negative discounting. And my brother, an economist, he smokes. We lost our father to lung cancer, still yet he smokes. And he's trained to maximize his utility. But the the present person actually is very selfish. So I told him this, and he said, well, I'll stop smoking if you stop eating ice cream. You are diabetic, you are an electrical engineer, so you have to stop eating. So that's also a prisoner's dilemma.